The NFL has boasted some truly wild finishes, with so many games proving that it's never over until it's truly over. From Hail Mary game winners to some of the most obscene plays you've ever seen to walk it off, these are the best of the best in the recent memory of NFL fans. If you're a Saints or a Patriots fan, it might be time to look away. And we'll wrap up the video with one of the most ridiculous final minutes of a playoff game that we are ever likely to see between two juggernaut quarterbacks and their teams. We're going to start things off with the miracle in Motown. It was early December, and the Green Bay Packers were trying to build on a 7-4 record with a road game against the division rival, the Detroit Lions. The game was televised on Thursday Night Football, giving it the spotlight for NFL fans tuning in for their Thursday fix. Detroit shot out in front in what was a surprise opening quarter. The Packers might have been on the road, but they were considered the better team against a 4-7 Lions team that had struggled so far in the 2015 football season. All of the back-and-forth action led to Green Bay trailing by 2 points, with 23 seconds left to go in the game. They were out of timeouts, and fair caught the Lions punt on the 21-yard line. 99 times out of 100, a situation like that would end in a failed attempt at a quick drive or a sack that would run down the clock. But on this occasion, an all-time play was born. Two failed pass attempts downfield led to Rodgers standing on the 21-yard line with 6 seconds on the clock. They tried a trick play that saw a pass completed downfield before being lateraled and tossed back to Aaron Rodgers, who was then torn to the ground by his face mask with 0 seconds on the clock. It was an extremely unfortunate play from defensive end Devin Taylor, who glanced Rodgers' face mask with an outstretched hand, resulting in a 15-yard penalty and an untimed down with time on the clock expired. The game should have been over. But Rodgers was now scrambling to evade pressure before launching one towards the end zone from 65 yards away. As it returned from the heavens, Richard Rodgers had tracked it perfectly and cradled it as he fell backwards into the end zone. He shielded the ball from the defenders behind him and sent the stadium into chaos as he pulled it down. The Packers won the game. The Lions were left stunned, and the miracle in Motown cemented itself in history.
It's going to get there. He turned 32 yesterday. Does he have a vintage moment?
Speaking of miracles, it's time to switch this video off, Saints fans. The Minnesota Vikings found themselves trailing in a home field playoff game against the New Orleans Saints in the NFC divisional round. The Saints struggled in the first half, with Drew Brees throwing 2 interceptions, helping the Vikings to go in at half, leading 17-0. Prior to the season, the year before franchise quarterback Teddy Bridgewater went down with a nasty ACL injury in training camp. His road to recovery was a long one, so the following year it was Sam Bradford who had gone into the season as the starting QB. He too went down in Week 1, leading to a full season with Case Keenum at the helm. In a surprising turn of events, Case Keenum led the Vikings to a 13-3 season and a playoff berth, leading them to their matchup against New Orleans. Huh? Case Keenum? Yup, you heard that right. Minnesota allowed the Saints back into the game via a touchdown and a quick score off of a Keenum interception, and before they knew it, they found themselves down 21-20 late in the fourth. A go-ahead field goal once again swung the momentum their way, but Will Lutz converted his own attempt to put the Saints back up 24-23 with 25 seconds on the clock. And in doing so, the game was set up for a miraculous finish. Enter Stefon Diggs. Case Keenum threw a pass over the middle to Diggs, who caught it before Minnesota took a timeout. They were hoping for one last chance, and oh man, did they get it. From the 39-yard line, Keenum knew he had to find the sideline. The Vikings were out of timeouts, and they only needed a field goal to win it. Diggs ran deep down the right, and Keenum threw him a corner route that forced the Saints rookie safety Marcus Williams into action. As Stefon Diggs backpedaled with the football, Marcus Williams launched his whole body at him, but missed entirely. Diggs was bracing for contact that never came, and as he spun round, there was nothing but green grass between him and the end zone. Williams must have been trying to drop Diggs in bounds, but in his wholehearted attempt, he completely whiffed, and Stefon Diggs walked it in and walked it off, with absolute bedlam ensuing at the US Bank Stadium. This wasn't intentional, but the third play also marks the third miracle play of the video, and this time it was Miami coming up with the goods. In a regular season home game against Tom Brady and the 9-3 New England Patriots, a struggling Miami Dolphins team battled against one of their biggest rivals. Brady threw for 358 yards and 3 touchdowns in Miami, and the Dolphins trailed by 5 with 7 seconds left on the clock. Expecting a Hail Mary, the Patriots put tight end Rob Gronkowski out at safety, so the big-bodied pass catcher could go up against the Dolphins' receivers as they attempt to bring down a deep ball. What Miami did instead was throw the football underneath before lateraling it to Devontae Parker, who passed it one more time to running back Kenyon Drake. Drake slipped out of one tackle and cut back inside, where a well-timed block from a downhill offensive lineman opened up a gap. The Dolphins' back now found himself one-on-one with Gronk, and as he cut back outside, Gronk failed to find the right angle, allowing Drake to skip down the sideline for a touchdown. The play led to a legendary call for Dolphins fans from announcer Ian Eagle. Kenyon Drake heaved the football into the stands amidst emphatic celebrations, only to put out a plea on social media after the game asking for it back. We don't believe he ever found it, so there's a lucky fan somewhere with quite the trophy piece tucked away. Alright, so we've had 3 miracles, and it's time to move on. And this time it's the New England Patriots on the right side of the madness. Seattle were the defending Super Bowl champions with Russell Wilson and the Legion of Boom leading the charge. Pete Carroll's team found themselves down by 4 with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to play, giving Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense a chance to drive down the field and win it all in back-to-back years. He hit Marshawn Lynch down the sideline in man coverage against a linebacker to put Seattle at midfield. Jermaine Kearse caught a juggled ball that furthered the Hawks' advances to the 5-yard line. It was 1st and goal. Marshawn Lynch, otherwise known as Beast Mode, excelled in these situations. Very rarely could you stonewall him. He was the type of back who would always rumble forwards for at least a small gain. On 1st down, he took the ball left and was dragged down at the 1-yard line, leaving the outcome of this game to feel like an inevitable punch-in for number 24 and a successful Super Bowl defense. What followed will always be one of the most chaotic plays in the history of the game.
Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that's been borderline unstoppable in this part of the field.
The Patriots went into their goal line defense, which gave Seattle an opportunity. In a recent interview with Richard Sherman, Pete Carroll explained that in situations like that, his ethos is to make sure the team always gets all 4 attempts. So they were going to throw the football on one of those plays to make sure that happened. With New England in goal line defense, this seemed like the perfect shot. Doug Baldwin motioned left, leaving 2 receivers in man coverage to Wilson's right. He took the snap, his first receiver block to set up the pick play on the rookie corner Malcolm Butler. In practice, Butler had got this exact scenario wrong. In the Super Bowl, he got it right. He came inside the block and shot towards the slant route, picking it off to ice the Super Bowl on the goal line. The rookie making one of the biggest plays in Super Bowl history. Insanity. And finally, as we promised, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Divisional Playoff, where the final 2 minutes of this game and the overtime that followed are some of the best back-and-forth NFL action you are ever going to see. The Chiefs led 26-21 at the 2-minute warning. Arrowhead was jumping, and the Bills had to battle back more than once. Josh Allen came out of the 2-minute warning and threw a laser beam into the end zone to a wide-open Gabriel Davis, swinging the lead back in the favor of the visitors, and a converted 2-point conversion gave them a 3-point lead. Then out steps Patrick Mahomes with a reputation on the line. He's yet to fail in making the AFC Championship game, and he wasn't about to start now. Mahomes found Tyreek Hill coming across the middle of the field, who then turned on the Jets and left his man for dead before darting through the defense and throwing up his trademark peace sign. Advantage back to Kansas City. The Chiefs were back up by 4, and this time Josh Allen and co. had less than a minute on the clock and a long way to go. Gabe Davis came up clutch again in what was a huge game for the young wideout, catching a ball over the middle that put the Bills in Chiefs territory. The Bills had 2 timeouts left, which was crucial for their game plan driving down the field. They didn't have to force the ball towards the sideline, which gave Josh Allen a shot at Gabe Davis as he slipped between 2 coverage defenders guarding the end zone. With yet another strike, the Bills took the lead once again, this time with 13 seconds to go. Patrick Mahomes had to get up and start throwing again. This one wasn't over. Mahomes had 13 seconds and 3 timeouts. He hit Tyreek Hill, timeout, and then on the following play found Kelsey with a second quick hit, this time setting up a 48-yard field goal for Harrison Butker to force the game into overtime. Butker made the kick. The Chiefs won the toss in overtime, and this is where Bills fans had their hearts broken in the worst possible way since losing 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s. Kansas City went down the field with ease. Hill, Hardman, and finally Kelsey in the end zone to close out the game and deny Josh Allen even an opportunity to touch the football again. The game was so close and the outcome so brutal for the Bills that the NFL actually changed the rules to state that in the playoffs, the trailing team would get a shot to match the opposition's score. Ultimately, one of the most sensational games between 2 elite QBs was decided by the coin toss, and the NFL wanted that to be the last time. Good call, football gods. There should be several more matchups between these 2 men in the coming years, and this time we can keep the coin out of it.